The Tao of Self-Confidence, episode 143. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of outstanding women finding their inner journey to self-confidence 5 days a week. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com to check out amazing blog articles and our killer resources. Well, hello, friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a special lady on who's all the way from Vancouver, BC. She is a success coach, and I'm excited to have her on and share her story with us today. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Manpreet Dhillon. Manpreet, how are you doing today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to our listeners.
Oh, for sure. Thank you for having me. So my background is, I'm a success coach. I look at people working with people to kind of redefine success for themselves, because a lot of the times, I know when I grew up, success was always career-wise, and I had a moment where my life was not working the way I wanted it to work, and I thought I wasn't successful anymore. And so I had to redefine success, and that kind of changed my mindset on how I approached life and I approached everything that I did. And so, I do HR consulting as a part of my coaching as well. I love working with organizations and with people to help them become better leaders, no matter what their position is, because as Robin Sharma says, being a leader without the title is the best thing to be. And so that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And, it's funny because like most of us, we define success as how much money we make, right? When it's really how you live your life, right? You can have all the money in the world and still be miserable, right?
That's so true.
Not saying money's bad, right? I'm just saying there's people out there who work to the bone and, not even experience life, right? And it's just letting it pass them by. So I believe there's a balance. That success is somewhat your own definition, whether it's to live in a certain area or spend more time with your kids. Success can be anything. There's no right, wrong, good or bad, right? It's always to someone's perspective. So I'm really glad, that you are helping people out there redefining success, because especially, in society today, like they just measure it by how much money you make.
It's so true. Yeah. Or what job you have, or, what role you have. And a lot of the times, like even if you look at the stay-at-home moms, you kind of look at, a lot of the times when I'm working with them or talking to them, they'll just be like, well, I'm not successful. I'm not doing anything. I have nothing to, nothing to say where I go. And I'm like, the fact that you run, like a household and all the finances, you're, raising these children. It's all a matter of if you wake up in the morning and how do you feel about yourself? And that has a lot to do with our topic today as well, around confidence. But it's how do you feel about yourself? How do you feel about, what are you excited about each day? And that impacts your success and impacts your confidence about who you are as well.
I love it. And it's so true. And I believe, being a mother is one of the biggest tasks you could ever do. And that's a success on its own. So thanks for sharing that. And what's your cultural background?
Well, my parents were born and raised in India. I was born in Canada, so I don't know, the terms change all the time. Indo-Canadian, South Asian, but my background's from India.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
Oh, I was thinking about that when I saw that. I don't even know who says it, but it's really about how confidence shines from within, and that's where your beauty really lies. And that quote to me is, the more that we stand in our power, that's when we're really beautiful. And that's where our beauty will radiate to everyone else around us. And it doesn't matter what you look like or what you wear or anything. But as long as you're wearing confidence, that's when you're really going to truly be beautiful.
I love it. And it's true, right? Confidence is, inner work first. Then it goes, then it attracts the outer stuff. But a lot of people kind of do it backwards, which kind of gets them like, why isn't this working, right? So people have to dig deep and get in and figure out why certain things are happening and why they think the way they think. So I really love that quote that you mentioned. And in your own words, how would you define self-confidence?
It's been self-confidence. It's always a fun thing, because you hear the definitions and you think that, you always have to feel good about yourself. You have to feel good about yourself in all aspects. But for me, self-confidence is really where you feel centered within yourself and you're just sure that you are on the right path. and you are doing what feels right, and that's in your highest good. And that's really what self-confidence is for me. So when it's about when you walk into a room, you're kind of just owning your energy because you're just like, yeah, I'm meant to be here right now. And you are walking with this kind of, your shoulders are back, but you're walking with this kind of level of feeling centered and grounded within your body and just kind of owning yourself, owning your own power, and just being, just being the light, the radiant light that each of us is meant to be in our lifetime. And so self-confidence really comes in from just owning yourself and just being centered within your core and being who you are.
Thanks, and I love that definition, and it's true, right? Because there's going to be days where we don't feel good, right? But we still have to we still have to love ourselves for who we are and accept those, right? It's like if you have a bad day, have a bad day, right? And then just get it over with, and then the next day you'll be good again. So I really love that. So thanks for sharing that. And what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
It was so funny that you said about to have the bad day and get over it. So yesterday I had one of my bad days, and I was sitting there on the couch beating myself up, and I was just like thinking back to all the times that, so I have, one of my natural tendencies is sometimes to punish, like keep beating myself up for things that happened in the past that I thought I forgave myself, but somehow when I'm feeling crappy, I'll bring them up again. It was really interesting because I allowed myself to do that for about 2 hours, and then I'm like, I'm done. Like, no more of this because this isn't who I am. I actually I made a list of all the reasons why I am accomplished and why I'm successful, all the things that I'm actually happy about and all the things I feel gratitude about. And it was just really a great reflection for me. And I guess it was in preparation for this interview, how universe has it. But it was really a great reflection for me how far I had come. Before, I would look at my life and never really see the positives. I would always see something wrong or something that needed to be fixed. And I was never really happy. And now when I look at my life, yeah, I'll have my down moments, but then I can really turn it around and look at, well, what's really happening? And when I start looking at look at facts or look at the tangible things that have actually happened, I'm like, oh, wow, like that happened because I was just standing in my power, or that happened because I took an action that I was scared to take. And so it's really been such a 180 for me because I wasn't happy before I stepped into my confidence, and I would always see life as such a struggle and really hard. And now life is so much easier and just flows, and I just love it. Like I'm actually happy, regardless of, the situation, like life may not be working out the way I want it to be, but I can wake up happy every day and just being happy that I'm healthy and that I feel good about myself and feel good about where I'm at.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And I think we all go through that. We beat ourselves up, right? We just think that if we do something wrong, it's the end of the world. So, I think it's something that most women go through, especially women in Asia, because they've been told and ingrained in their heads that they have to be like this perfect person, right?
Yeah.
And that really hurts us in the end. So, what was that time in your life when you realized, that you didn't have to do that? What was like that aha moment in your life when you realized you can be who you wanted to be?
It was really, well, there's been a few times, but it was actually, I always go back to this time with a friend of mine. She was my best friend at the time, and I was my self-confidence is making me act in destructive ways to myself, where I was in like bad relationships, always, not respecting myself kind of thing. And she just made this comment to me. She's like, if you're not your own best friend, no one else can be. And that comment stuck. And about, that was like early July. At the end of August, on a whim, I just went to India, and I just went to the ashram and like meditated and did some things. And I started my journey on being my own best friend. But it was really that moment when she said that to me, I was like, wow, I'm really not my own best friend. And if I can't be my own best friend, really, how are other people going to be able to be in my life that way? And so that led me on my journey at that time.
Thanks for sharing that. And it's true, right? I mean, you have to love yourself first. You have to be your own best friend in order to have the kind of relationship, the kind of love that you deserve, right? Even if it's something as simple as laughing at your own jokes. I mean, I laugh at my own jokes all the time, and people think I'm nuts. But for me, it's like, well, if no one else is going to laugh, I'm going to laugh at them, right? I mean,
yeah, exactly.
It's just like
as long as you think they're funny, that's all that matters.
Yeah, and it's just these little things that can really help you boost up your confidence, right? Simple things, even something as simple as just smiling. Just go to the mirror and just smile at yourself. And just for no reason, just a smile, it really changes the vibration and the mood that you're currently in. I mean, if I'm feeling down, I just smile. I mean, I'll smile like a fool and people might look at me funny, but at least I know I'm feeling good and I'm changing, my pattern, right? Just makes a great pattern interrupt. So, after that trip, what's your life like now?
Oh my God, my life has been like so different. I have amazing relationships. I have people around me that are just so supportive, and I will spend a lot of time. Like, a good factor was at that time, I went to Barbados on a trip by myself for 4 days, and I could only stay with myself for 4 days, and I was like itching because I was on a silent retreat, so I wasn't talking to anyone. And just recently, like 2 weeks ago, last month, I went to Kauai by myself, and it was so different. I could have done 10 days by myself, just because I actually loved myself. I loved my own company. I loved who I was, and that was completely different. Yeah, it was a huge difference, and just like that's just an example of it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And I love Kauai. Kauai is really beautiful. So, I mean, it's a great way to spend your own company there, in paradise. So, Manpreet, to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey of self-confidence. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
Oh, listen to your heart. Like, your heart has all the answers. And when you listen to your heart, you'll feel the love for yourself, and feel the love for all aspects of yourself. And your heart will never tell you to go do anything that's going to impact your confidence negatively. Your heart will always tell you things that are going to lift you up and make you better.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And it's funny when you said, listen to your heart, it reminded me of this 80s song. I won't sing because I'm sure the listeners might stop this episode if I do. But it's just sometimes you have these little things that come up, but it's true, right? The universe always has our back. And when we start asking the right questions, things start to appear, right before our eyes, before we even know it. There's signs everywhere that you're like, oh my goodness, why did this just pop up now? But things happen for a reason. You're in certain times, certain places for a reason. And yeah, I just believe when you listen to your heart, when it feels good, I mean, you just go for it, right? So Great tip. I love that. And if our listeners want to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yeah, so my website is it's manpreetdhillon.com. That's MANPREET, Dhillon, DHILLON.com, or just Twitter at ManpreetD, and the best way to do it.
Thank you for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Manpreet, you can also head on over to thetaoofselfconfidence.com and search for Manpreet's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I really just want to thank Manpreet for taking the time to share her story with us. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me and allowing me to share the story. And hopefully it sparks someone else to just be that little bit more confident than that's inside them already.
It was an honor to have you, and I'm sure you are changing lives, every time someone listens to this episode, so I'm just grateful. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for connecting with us on the Tao of Self-Confidence. Visit thetaoofselfconfidence.com for links to everything we chatted about, as well as killer resources, gifts, and so much more.